Hello! Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do exist. I'm your host, Prince Magnum. Welcome to another one of my live streams, and welcome to Do It Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. And I already see my boy, Gamery and BRFC is already here. He knows what's going on. He heard Project Lena, and he was. I'm thinking he probably has no idea what we're doing today. Well, today is one of those days while. Hey, what's going on, Ron? Good to see everybody. Hey, Lewis. While the wife is away, I figured I'd go ahead and start doing some major tune-up stuff because this poor old car needs right on, right on. There's some, very typical of modern vehicles. There's a ton of things that needs to be taken care of. It's always just different things, than what you might think. And currently, I'm actually fighting. What's going on, Miss Kelly? Raven, you're here too. My goodness. So many wonderful people joining us today. And currently, right now, I am actually wrestling with a part. And, I see Hartford, the crackhead, is here tonight as well. What's going on, Think Different? So currently, right now, thank you so much, Think Different. Appreciate that. Right now, I'm actually wrestling with a part that belongs on Project Lena. We may have to do this a little bit different, but it's not a super big deal. All right. If you own a modern vehicle, there's a couple of things I'm going to show you guys on these things that oftentimes gets overlooked, and it's some of the same things that you'd find on an old car. And this is one of these items. Now, yes, I did. This is one of these items. Kick them out of here again, would you? This particular item, right here, oftentimes gets overlooked. And I went over and picked up a brand new one. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite fit right. So I'm going to actually have to go in and make an adapter, and we'll have to do this at a later date. But in the meantime, to get this one to continue working the way it's supposed to, what I'm actually going to do, I am doing fantastic. Welcome to the live, Daniel. So basically, they gave me the wrong one with the wrong end on it. Ironically enough, that happens from time to time. Numbers get changed in those computers, and well, you run into problems like this. But we can still carry on because I can actually show you guys how to make these little valves last. Now, for those that don't know, this is what is called a positive crankcase ventilation valve. And the positive crankcase ventilation valve, when these get clogged up, your engine, you can start blowing gaskets and everything else. So I'm going to show you guys how to deal with all of that. I'm going to show you guys how to change an air filter, and I'm going to show you how to clean out your throttle body. Hey, what's going on, sis? So it's good to see everyone here tonight. And there we go. All right, so first thing on the list, while I explained everything that we're going to be doing tonight, again, thank you for everyone who shouted me out. Thank you so much. Here in a second, we're going to turn around the camera after my cigarette. For those that don't know, the woman that just showed up in blue, that's with the name Hannah, that's my little sister. Ah, yeah, that's my little sister right there. So right now, the next step is we're going to turn this around and we're going to begin doing this project. It is getting dark out, but it won't matter because it's not going to take that long. It really isn't going to take that long. I'm doing fantastic. I am missing my wife like nobody's business because she's been visiting family. That's right, Miss Kelly. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's so good to see everyone here tonight. And if you own a modern car, you definitely want to be a part of this, okay? Because a lot of people pay for tune-ups, and it starts getting real dicey on my knowledge after 2006. Unfortunately, most cars now are just cellular devices on four wheels. And one of the things I'm going to tell you guys, if any of you are going to go and buy a brand new vehicle, do yourself a favor. Ask the sales rep, the car salesman at that new car dealer. Ask him this question, and I guarantee he'll get a panicked look on his face. Ask him while you're buying that vehicle, because it'll take 5 to 7 years for the average person. But ask the question, will you continue to update the software while I'm purchasing this vehicle? Because every vehicle, it's a computer. It does need the occasional patch, okay? It needs that software update. Would you buy a cellular device and not do any updates? No, you wouldn't. For the duration of the time you have that cellular device, you're going to do updates, and your vehicle is no different. So ask them, for the next 7 years, will the company that you're buying it from provide software updates, and watch the panic look. That's why I tell you, really, you shouldn't buy much after 2006. But some people have to. But if you ever want to see a panic look on a sales rep, ask them that question. And usually after 10 years, most car manufacturers will not support that vehicle most of the time. Not all of them, some of them. So now that we've gotten to that point, as soon as I finish my cigar, we're going to turn the camera around and we're going to get underway. Yeah, it's so good to see everyone here tonight. Double checking, making sure. There we go. Oh my goodness. Minty, welcome to the live. So, one of the other things we're also going to do, I am doing fantastic. I'm ready to get some work done to the wife's car. Figure I'd go ahead. Well, I've always smoked cigars. I've always smoked cigars, you know. That's my thing. I'm a cigar smoker, you know. But anyhow, here in just a moment, we're going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you guys how ridiculously easy this is. And I'm also, as much light as I've got out here, I'm going to show you guys something that you really need to know. Yeah, good cigar is hard to beat sometimes. So, alrighty. Hey, what's going on? Bless this crazy mess. It wasn't my group. It wasn't my group, brother. But don't you worry. I'll be, when I get off here later and I do a Sonny's chat, I'm going to be, after that, there you go. Okay, Ron. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about modern cars. I'm good here. All righty. Now, I'm going to slide you guys over here, and I'm going to turn the camera around. Boom! As best as you can see, right here is your air filter box. It's ridiculously easy to get to. Now, most modern vehicles, Project Lean is a little bit different because it has ram air induction. And with the ram air induction, it has an additional pipe here that it kind of hooks into where the grill is on the front, and it pushes more air down inside the air filter box. Okay. Thank you for the Eclipses that have decided to join us tonight. But normal vehicles have a tube that connects into the fender and forces cool air up inside of here. Well, there's a problem. If you live in, say, like the desert, this is a bad thing. And that tube is actually right here and runs down into the fender. You might as well have hooked a giant air vacuum cleaner up to your vehicle and run the air up, dirty air right through here. So these filters get really dirty really fast. And despite the fact that it's getting dark out, you'll still be able to see how nasty these things get. This is a brand new filter. Has not been. Now, it'll be a little bit different on pretty much every vehicle. And here's the old one. Doesn't quite look as bright and as vibrant, okay? Every 3 months, change these things, okay? I know the manufacturer will say you can get away with X amount of, no, do it every 3 months, especially if you live in like a desert area, or if you're like me and you live in Missouri, where it's non-stop, just dirty roads. There's a lot of gravel roads in Missouri. If you don't end up on a gravel road at some point in time in Missouri, you're not living in Missouri, okay? So do yourself a favor, take care of your vehicle, okay? That's why we do this regularly. So we're going to throw that out of the way, and we're going to install the brand new one. Now the hard part, a whole lot of light. And you could do this, it's ridiculously not that dang hard. There's that slot, that slot. Now some of these will have clips. Some of these will have little tabs. It's pretty much, once you get it in place, tighten everything back up. That's it. That's as hard as it gets. I don't know why people pay to have this done, because it's ridiculously easy. It's just right there on pretty much all vehicles. And now that you know how to change your own air filter, even with it getting dark, that's it. It's done. Air filter's done. Just like that. Yeah, they've been saying that for years there, Chairman. They've been saying that for years. So that is done. We don't have to mess with that. Now, I'm going to turn you guys over here. And real quick, the part that I'm pulling off is right there on the top of the engine, the Pcv valve. Okay? The positive crankcase ventilation. Let me explain what this does. As your engine warms up, gases will build up inside the engine from the oil. It's just like regular, normal evaporation sort of thing. And as it does, the pressure will build up. It has to go somewhere. So that's what this is for. And then they connect the tube in and then run it back in and just burn those gases. Doesn't hurt a thing. Okay? In the old days, what we would oftentimes do is we would actually filter that out into the atmosphere. But times have changed, and you can reuse that, and it pumps it directly back into the engine to burn. But every couple of months, all you got to do is pull this thing out right like that. And that's the one that's on there. Okay? That's it. Just a little bit like that. And I'll take you guys upstairs to show you the one that's supposed to go on there. But if you run into a problem like this, and it rattles, but not well enough to my liking, so that means it's getting clogged up. Take a can of carburetor cleaner. Just regular old carburetor cleaner. Not going to hurt nothing. You take it and spray it just like that. inside and out. That. Alrighty, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Right, absolutely right. Okay, the Sunnies, basically it's a group of people that we kind of support each other here on YouTube, and a lot of, I'll holler at you because you have an open invite to already one of those groups, Ian. You already have an open invite. But we kind of support each other and help you, basically work together with each other. Now, I started to show you guys, basically you spray that little Pcv valve off with carburetor cleaner. Wasn't rattling very good, but it's rattling just fine now. Kind of an exciting sort of thing, moving it like that. That'll be enough out of me. Anyhow, so we can now reinstall this back in the car, okay? But, Miss Kelly explained it. Thank you, Miss Kelly. But that's it. That's all it is. Just a little piece like this, about $4 or $5. Don't change it every 6 months. You'll blow your engine apart more or less. It'll start blowing gaskets, leaking oil everywhere, and it'll actually start forcing oil back up inside your intake. Not a good thing. So change these every 3 months. Alrighty, so I'm going to turn y'all back around so you can kind of see what's going on. Kind of. It's getting dark. I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. Alrighty. And it literally just pops right back into place. You'll put the tube in first, and then you'll slide it into place. That's it. So that's pretty much it. I mean, as best as you can see, because there's my hand, that's where it just pops right back in. That's it. That's it. And Project Lena is now ready to go again. So I'm going to move some stuff out of the way. And when you're dealing with carburetor cleaner, don't be prissy with it. It's cheap, okay? Use it. And the Eclipses, I was about to say, the Eclipses do the same thing. Hey, what's going on? Megan and Rodney. Welcome to the live stream. Alrighty, so we've got this now taken care of. I already know that Mr. Gamerian wants to hear Project Lena run. Part of tomorrow is I got to clean this filth up. Already I hear a little less clatter in the engine. That's a good thing. No, she isn't filth. She's just dirty. And of course, the scoops. This is my wife's project car. For all you gearheads out there just like me. Nothing like seeing that tachometer jump up like that. Always makes you feel good. All right, so that takes care of that. The headlights go off on their own. All of that does, actually. Not like we're Project Spirit. Oh, for those that do not know, my 1975 Ford Maverick right there. That's what I drive every day. Now back here, you can see some of the paintwork that my wife has done. I helped on the spoiler. Oh, Ian, spoiler alert. Yeah, most of the time the Pontiacs are usually pretty rough looking within a few years. Oh, Princess Faye does have amazing taste. Now, real quick, I know all of you are already excited because you've seen an old car that's still driven every day. Oh, 64 Impala? Yeah. Right on, right on. Mine is still the 57 Chevy. Alrighty. This is Project Spirit, my 1975 Ford Maverick, four-door sedan. Alrighty. Now I'm going to show you guys. Alright guys, the most annoying sound in the world. There it is. Now the first key, I'm going to turn the dome light on so y'all can see a little bit better. The first key here unlocks the steering wheel. The second key, if I could stop throwing it every dang place, goes right here. Turn that to the on position. We'll disengage the manual transmission. Yeah, she's still stick. And at the push of a button now, it's alive! As we say on the Prince Magnum channel, sounds of the 70s. Rest in peace, Emerson. Now for the part that's going to make everybody sit there and go, what the what? We're in a live stream. Huh? That sounded pretty nice. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. All righty. Oh, might help if I turn off the dome light. Derp. Hey, what's going on, Queen Bee? There we go. And now we'll pop the hood as best as you can see, my friends. The original inline 6 from 1975. That's what made that sound. What kind of car is it? Oh, it's only one carburetor. What kind of car is it? A 1975 Ford Maverick four-door sedan. I was gonna say, if you turn on your porch light, it'll be more than enough. If y'all don't mind. There you go. One carburetor. Yeah, that's how they did things back then. That's the original 6-cylinder from way back when. Just been cleaned up an awful lot. I'll have to go into the Eclipse chat and over on Messenger and send you guys the. There you go. There you go. I'll have to send you guys the video that kind of basically some of the old playlist, the walk around stuff. The brakes on this car are designed for the 70 to 73 Ford Mustang. There you go. Just like that. And I'll have to post that information, some of the best videos on this car. Now, real quick, we've got the street light working with us. Back here, my wife and I actually redid that tail light panel ourselves. And we blacked it out just like they did. Oh no, it's a 6-cylinder. Just an old 6-cylinder. That's all it is. Just a straight 6-cylinder. That's it. Similar to what you find in the pickup trucks at the time. But that's it. Just an old 6. Proper maintenance, regular tune-ups, and these things will last you forever, except in some places in other parts of the world. So, I didn't get as far as I wanted. What's going on, Mikey G? Welcome to the live, my friends. So many wonderful people here tonight. Now, real quick, Project Lena, her hood shuts a certain way, but this is how I like my hoods to sound when they shut. That's how I like it to sound. I know it's there. I would do, I love the old C10 Chevys. Love those. Especially the ones out of the 70s and 80s, that old square body Chevy. But I do like the F-150s too. There you go. That is Project Spirit. Oh, by the way, the pinstriping, my wife did that. Took her 2 hours to do the hood alone, and it goes down the side. Well, that's a bad shot. We'll come over here. Goes right down the side, and that is not factory. My wife did that herself. Actually, my wife is quite the artist. She also did the paint work that's on Project Lena, too. We sat down, figured out how we were going to do it, and then we went and did it. Right? Thanks, Ron. Appreciate that. All right, Chairman, you rest up, okay, buddy? But these are the two project cars. Project Spirit and Project Lena. That's a 1975 Ford Maverick. Let's go upstairs and I'll go ahead and start sharing basically how your newer car like this can last like that. Okay? For those of you who are fairly new to the channel and want to learn some important information that isn't common, it's supposed to be common knowledge. Thank you for your help.
No problem.
So we're gonna head upstairs. It might help if I also remember my dang camera mount. Where'd I put it? Oh, that's right. Left it over inside Project Spirit. Alrighty. Actually, I can leave this out here. Doesn't hurt. Yep, there it is. Totally remembered now. Alrighty. Now, let's head on upstairs and let's chit-chat about dear old Project Spirit and Project Lena. How you can make one of those last forever. I'm scared of the dark. Somebody hold me. All right, here we are. Back upstairs in the apartment. Let's talk about let's talk about most people's vehicles. Most people, when they get a vehicle, it, they, it's you like that, huh? All righty. Most people, when they get a vehicle, they're not gearheads. Okay, they're not gearheads. And what is a gearhead? Well, some people think it's basically a car guy that they call nowadays. A car guy really is just a car enthusiast. Okay, they're really only a car enthusiast, and there's nothing wrong with being a car enthusiast. Okay, there you go, Mikey G. There's nothing wrong with being a car enthusiast. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Some people get into the custom car world because of car guy channels here on YouTube. So I'm going to get that out of the way right now. They're just as important as the DIY side of it all, because it allows you to talk about, well, this is my favorite car and that sort of thing. So those channels are wonderful. But what I'm going to tell you is, then there's the side where people actually work. Yeah, well, you don't have to spend a whole lot of money on maintaining a vehicle. Just what I showed you tonight, changing your air filter. A lot of shops will charge, well, you'll go in, they'll change an air filter for something that took maybe 5-10 minutes, and they can, in some cases, some shops will charge you for the entire. You've done modifications to your car. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say is nothing new for you, Minty. Okay, so now that I've said that, it takes a couple minutes. Some people will go in and an air filter. Right. So just changing your air filter, okay? Just changing the air filter. This is not a joke, folks. In some places, they'll charge you up to $50 to change an air filter for what you bought. You can buy on your own for anywheres from where I live, anywheres for $10 to $20, okay? And it's not going to vary too much from that. So you're paying, $50, $60 to change an air filter that you can change on your own. And a lot of times, most people don't go out there and check. So that shop will say, oh yeah, we changed that air filter. And you may not be paying for anything for your car to sit out there and make it look like they're working on it. Don't do that to yourself. You guys got the common knowledge now to do this on your own. And you save yourself a ton of money. You throw away the paper air filter. And in most cases, a lot of it. Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that either. When should you do a tune-up? Even on modern cars. I know they say that you only have to change them every 100,000 miles. The spark plugs. It's my favorite. The old cars. Every 6 months. So you're running basically your vehicle. That it's a ripoff, okay? Yes, you'll pay a little bit of money because my spark plugs are usually coated in platinum. But in the long run, it pays for itself. Okay. You also want to change, and when you change your spark plugs, always change the spark plug wires every 6 months to 1 year in a modern vehicle. With Project Spirit, the same rules apply. I do a tune-up every 6 months, once in the spring and once in the fall. Unless her engine floods, then I change the plugs within at least a week after that. But that's just the spark plugs. But on Project Spirit's cap, rotor bug, plugs, wires, fuel filter, air filter. Even if I just changed the air filter not too long before, I'll do it anyways. And you want to do an oil change, whether it needs it or not. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but Project Spirit was built in November of 1974, listed as a 1975. The original 6-cylinder, though it leaks oil a lot because quality control in the 1970s was not good. Even though she leaks oil heavily, you still have to put in a quart of oil about every week and a half. That's pretty heavy nowadays. And considering the price of motor oil. Now that I've said that, is coming up on 300,000 miles. We're under 10,000 to go before she turns that odometer over for the third time in her life. So take that to heart. If I'm telling you to do things like this, your vehicle will last. It will last a long time. Because You don't take care of your engine blows up. That's why with modern vehicles, the life expectancy is still 7 years. By the way, they used to say in the 1970s that the life expectancy of a vehicle out of the 1970s was 7 years. I think she outlived her life expectancy. Okay? So now that I've said that, okay, just kind of take that all in. I am beginning to think my chat is not moving. There you go. Yes. And see, Think Different is one. He Think Different actually lives in my area, and he has seen Project Spirit up close and personal. So he knows that car, I mean, it's for the most part pretty clean, you know, and run. You've heard it run. Oh, man. Matter of fact, the neighbors, I thought they would be a little upset me firing her up at this hour. No, they love it. Everybody loves Project Spirit because she's doing exactly what she was meant to do. Drive every day. There you go. See, you take good care of it. Yeah, that sounds about right, Ron. Sounds about right. So, you know, maintaining your vehicle. Now, if you got an automatic transmission, that's a whole nother subject. Automatic transmissions should have their fluid and filter changed every year to 2 years. I know car manufacturers tell you, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. A lot of people do. It's a love-hate relationship with me, okay? We're getting ready to change Project Spirit. Oh, I love driving stick. But unfortunately, nowadays where I live, driving stick is dangerous. People will get right up on your bumper, especially on a hill. And no matter how good you are at driving stick, you're still going to get a little bit of rollback. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows that. Well, they'll get right up on your bumper. It is illegal to tailgate in Missouri. The police, unfortunately, don't. I love old cars. Yeah, it does keep you more aware. Yes, absolutely correct, Minty. But the police do not enforce the tailgating law. Okay, they don't. And if they did, the courtrooms would fill up. Guaranteed. Mm-hmm. The newer your vehicle gets, the more expensive it gets. So if you have an automatic, there's nothing wrong with having an automatic, especially if you live in a very heavily populated town and it's stop and go traffic. Trust me, you're very grateful for an automatic, because I'll tell you right now, there are days I come out of work and my legs are sore, you know, from being on my feet for, you know, anywhere from 6 to 9 hours. My legs are sore, okay? And I really don't want to be driving stick, but I have to because Project Spirit's a stick shift. So that's a nice little perk. But on the other hand, well, I'm going to tell you guys a little inside track on how to take care of your automatics so you don't have to constantly worry about parts, okay? Yeah, I do too. By the way, the stick shift that's in Project Spirit is a 3-speed manual transmission. Project Spirit used to actually be what they used to call the old 3 on the tree. And basically the stick shift was up on the steering column, not on the floor like a lot of people are familiar with. And I do kind of miss it being a 3 on the tree, but when the linkage broke inside the column, you can't hardly get that stuff anymore. So we changed it to where it went on the floor with a Hurst shifter, the real shifters. Yep. And the linkage on Project Spirit's 3-speed manual transmission is external. It's not like modern vehicles where the linkage is on the inside of the transmission. And you got to worry about a stupid shifting fork for your gear shifter. You do not have to worry about that wearing out on you at any point in time. Because it's all external linkage. It never wears out. When they started putting more gears on transmissions, the linkage had to move inside. There's no way you could have kept it on the outside. So a 3-speed and a 4-speed manual, the linkage can be on the outside. Though they started dicking with that in the 70s, and linkage started moving inside, like the Saginaws and things like that. Okay, okay. That's pretty neat. I have never seen a Renault. What's going on, Tego, by the way? I just noticed that was you, buddy. Yeah, I prefer the older ones. So the linkage for Project Spirit is on the outside. So when you hear it clicking, that's the actual linkage down connecting into the side of the transmission, actually engaging the gears. It's really neat. So I only have 3 gears to fiddle fart with, which back in the 60s, 3-speed manuals were what everybody wanted on the drag strip. And that's in Project Spirit. Because the final drive is the same as it would be in a 4-speed manual. Yes, I know a brand called Opel. It's owned by General Motors. As a matter of fact, they were popular back in the 60s and 70s here in the United States because they're so light. Guys would yank the German engine out of it and would drop Chevy 350s into them. You know, the Chevy small block 350s. They'd squeeze those in there, take them to the drag strip, and outrun everything. Yeah, I just seen one. Yeah, a German car, owned by General Motors. I don't even know if if that car's still around. I've heard a lot of bad about the later ones, but I know the ones from the 60s and 70s a lot of people liked. But if you own an automatic, check the fluid regularly. Oh, really? You own a diesel? Okay. I know Germans love their diesels. I know they love their diesels. But with your automatics, check the fluid regularly, and 7 Ford Maverick to match Project Spirit. It was canary yellow. I have to put that video up now in the Eclipse chat so you guys can see that car too. It had an automatic transmission, had never been rebuilt, was the original one from 1977, and ran just fine. It was maintained. It was taken care of. It had never been built. They will last if you take care of them, but you have to take care of them. In modern, for the normal modern vehicle, the way they're usually taken care of, they're good for 7 to 10 years, usually. Unless you get that rare occasion where it just keeps going forever. But most modern vehicles will not last past 7 to 10 years, most of them. Now, the ones that usually only make it a little past 7 years, usually are your automatics. The ones that last 10 years are usually your manuals. And that's because people don't maintain automatics. Oh, you don't have to mess with them. You don't have to mess with them. There you go. It's got an Isuzu motor. That does surprise me, actually. Yeah, Isuzu makes a good engine. Matter of fact, Isuzu actually makes, if I remember correctly, makes the Duramax diesel for GM. Oh, I used to have a 78 Camaro Berlinetta. Oh, thinking about getting a hybrid? It's 69, the 429, the 429 Cobra Jet and the Boss Mustang from that year was a beast. As a matter of fact, the brake system that's on Project Spirit now up front is the same for the 70 to 73 Ford Mustang. Yeah, mine was the Berlinetta. It was set up like the Z28, but it came with a 305 and an automatic transmission. My dad and I yanked out the 305 and put a 400 cubic inch small block Chevy V8 under the hood. That car was known as Blue Thunder. Top speed, 155. That was ridiculous. How do I know it was 155? I'll give you 2 guesses, and the first one doesn't count. Cops told my dad, said if he decides to run from us at any point, we'd never catch him. We would never catch him. And he said, you might catch him through the corners, but no, you won't. You're not going to catch that car. So just maintain your vehicles. And if you're like me and got a rear wheel drive, a gasoline Hondas are decent vehicles. The Honda VTEC engine gets a lot of bad rap in the hot rod community. And here in the United States, there's really two communities to choose from. There's your import guys, and then there's the guys like myself who are traditional hot rodders. Unfortunately, I'm part of the last of the traditional hot rodders. I'm part of that, the last gaspers of the traditional hot rodders. Two reasons. One, we're dying off. And number two, it's getting harder to find vintage steel. This is why four-door classics are starting to make their way back onto the road again. And I say classics, but I'm going to have to stop y'all right now. Oh, I love cars. I love cars, period. As a matter of fact, one of the classics that I would love to get my hands on from outside of the United States is the 1970 Nissan Skyline GTR. I would love to get my hands on one of those. Gorgeous looking cars. I wouldn't do anything other than just drive it. That's a nice one. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about, Minty. But myself personally, I love those 70s Nissan Skylines. The R32 was a good looking car. I know a lot of people like the R34 the most, but myself personally, I do like the R32 more. It's a little bit more of a classy look that kind of like a a lot of people glance over the Mercury Cougars in this country. And to me thank you so much, Ron. And honestly, the Mercury Cougars in this country for the longest time was cars. Japan did make some pretty decent looking cars back in the day. What is oftentimes known as the Fair Lady, and love them. The dots, a bit of that, which the missus has basically said she's going to have to call AT&T again. Yeah. Ironically enough, in Japan, if I remember correctly, the 240, the 240 SX was called the Fair Lady. So in this country, it just got rebranded something else. And Datsun, yeah. So myself personally, I love. As a matter of fact, for those who love the pocket pickup trucks, the Chevy Love was just an Isuzu. Well, no, I'm sorry, it was a Datsun. It was either a Datsun or an Isuzu pickup truck, just rebadged as the Chevy Love. Those things will last forever. Oh, I love them. Yeah, the 240Zs were good looking cars. I love the ones from the 70s myself. The 70s, a lot of people, really. Now, I will tell you, some people talk very highly about Mitsubishi, but be careful of some of the Mitsubishi engines. They've got ceramic engines. The engines are made of ceramic, and when you go to back the threads out, the threads will come, take the threads out. If you're taking a bolt off, the threads for the engine block will come with it. You can't re-tap that. Yep. So myself personally, I love, for pocket pickups, I do love the Chevy Love. No pun intended there. I like the Chevy Love. The Chevy Love was a cute little truck. My wife got to see what one looks like, and she's like, "Oh, that is cute. Those are cute little pickup trucks." And the bodies will rust off of them before the engine quits. Japan used to make, and I think some of them are still pretty nice, but Japan used to really make some gorgeous, rides, but they also made, for the longest time, some very durable engines. Those engines would last you forever. They would go forever. And, Isuzu, Datsun, I know Toyota was another one that did. Yep, the Toyota Scarlet. Those are kind of cute little rides. Myself, I also like the 70s Volkswagen Rabbits. I think those are cute. Oh yeah. The hot hatches have really taken off here in the United States, and as a matter of fact, the owner operator of the McDonald's I work at, ironically enough, that guy, believe it or not, owns one of the last years for the Ford Focus RS. Yep. See, Minty knows a lot about foreign vehicles himself. I must confess, I am not very acquainted with foreign vehicles. Shoot, I'm still learning about Fords. I'm actually a GM guy and prefer more than anything Oldsmobile. I love Oldsmobile. Right behind that, Chevrolet, and then right behind that, Pontiac, uh, and of course, Cadillac. I love Cadillacs. At the bottom of my list for vehicles that out of General Motors made that was made here in the United States. Um, yep, they came with the 2JZ engine is actually a very tough engine because it's made of cast iron. That's why you could do what you do with it. Oh, I love Pontiac. Pontiac. Uh, my wife, Princess Faye, absolutely has said that she wants a 77 Pontiac Trans Am. Oh yeah, Cadillacs are nice. My personal favorite years for the Cadillac: the 1959 Cadillac Eldorado, the 1962 Cadillac Coupe de Ville, are just to name a few. I love those cars. I'm not oh, there's a Chevy Love here in our area. Shoot, man, that's what's up. You don't see those very often anymore. You don't see them very often. Damn shame, too. Oh, sorry about that. So, you know, again, when you're talking myself, I'll tell you what I would love to have. I'd love to pull the six cylinder out of Project Spirit and get my hands on an old 289 and build it into the 289 high output, or hypo as they called it in the 60s, and build it up a little bit. Bore it out 30 over. Go with about a 9-to-1 compression ratio. It'd have to be flat top pistons. Shave the heads about 30 thousandths. New guide plates. And if I could get it in, honestly, I haven't seen it, so I really can't tell you. I'm not. I'll have to take a look at it and give you my thoughts on it. I will tell you, I'm not a big fan of modern vehicles. They put too many electronics in them, and again, you're back to a vehicle that is more or less a cellular device on four wheels. And most manufacturers do not support the vehicle after it leaves the lot. They truly do not support it. So most of your vehicles that have that because of the ECU, there's software patches that should be installed into those ECUs. Okay, I'm going to have to take a look at that now. So that's the problem. Those software patches are not provided to the owner as as they're paying off the vehicle, and they so that's. Oh, is it? I'll have to take a look at it. But myself personally, I would love to find an old Windsor Class 289 and build it up. Comes with a V6? Okay. Nothing wrong with a V6. Wouldn't mind it if they brought back the 2JZ for the Japanese cars. To be honest with you, it would actually be in the best interest of the public. But those engines do hold up well because being cast iron. Which brings us to I like cast iron engines. Hey, we like rally here in the U.S. Pikes Peak, come on now, and drifting here in the United States. Drifting has really started taking off, and really, if you will, there's club racing, there's circle track, and not too far from here, there's a drag strip, which I got to finish editing the video footage. But I've got video footage from the Bonterre drag strip, 8th Mile. Most everyone, when you talk drag, everyone always thinks quarter mile, and no, there's nothing wrong with 8th. Well, yeah, but it's still a rally. Here, where I live, we even get the sand drags, and we get the mud drags, and stuff like that. Motorsports is still pretty popular in the U.S. Um, but myself personally, I love drag racing, and I'm when you're out doing some hooning in your classic car, you are going to do a little bit of drifting eventually, a little bit, not a whole lot. Project Spirit can do a little bit. Um, despite the fact that she's the one the one wheel wonder, if you will. She has what they call a single track rear end, and we need to change her over to a limited slip rear end, and then it would make a bit of a difference for that sort of stuff. But that'll come whenever it comes time to swap over to a V8. We're going to be doing that before the V8 swap. Because sometime next year we're going to start rebuilding a V8 to go down into Project Spirit. Because why not? That 6 cylinders lasted us a long time, and this is a DIY hot rod segment. I love doing modifications, and I mean that 6 cylinder does run good, and it can be rebuilt. I mean but it here in the U.S., we throw away good solid engines like the 6 cylinders, and there's actually an engine science area that I'm going to dive into at a later date here on the channel, an actual edited video basically explaining why some engines last forever in some areas, and where if you go in another part of the country, they don't last hardly at all. Believe it or not, if you get out towards the Rocky Mountains here in the U.S., a 6 cylinder like what's in Project Spirit won't last past 200,000 miles. And it has all to do with the elevation, sea level and things like that. It's really interesting. But most people don't know that stuff, So maintain, we're talking about doing that. Well, the diff. Yeah, I could do that too. But she's a daily driver, and that would be fine if I was not going to be driving her daily. And that would work great if I went to the drag strip too. If that's all it did, you could weld the diff for that too. But our boy Think Different, he'll tell you that he can go by my job. When I'm not on vacation. He can go by my job just about 5 days a week and see Project Spirit sitting there in the morning time because I'm at work. And like I said, he's seen her up close and personal. And he knows anytime he wants to do a walk around, he'd just holler at me. That's our boy there. That would be interesting. Actually, I've thought about building, finding an old Ford F-150, rebuilding that 6 cylinder, dropping it down into, a four-wheel drive F-150, F-250, dropping it down in there with a 4-speed manual like they had back in the 70s with the granny low gear, and use that to pull. I mean, you'd be surprised. Them 6 cylinders in a four-wheel drive like I'm describing, they'll pull down a house. Just all sorts of bottom end torque. Most everyone, oh yeah, they'll pull all day long, no problem. Nothing but bottom end torque out of those. That engine is actually better suited for a pickup truck, not a joke. And my wife is actually. How y'all doing? Yeah, pretty much, guys. So again, yeah, basically. And for the record, there is video footage on the Prince Magnum channel of Project Spirit with her old 6 cylinder out running. It was about a 2013 Camaro, 2012, 2013, that ballpark. It wasn't too long after they brought back the Camaros, and Project Spirit outran one of those, top end run. And the top speed for Project Spirit is upwards around 130 miles. We're still alive, thank goodness. So for those of you who do love them hard hitting, those hard hitting, old engines like that, I mean, you can't beat them. And in Australia, they do love engines that we Americans usually throw away. They love them. Like the Ford six cylinders, the Ford inline sixes, they'll rebuild those all day long. They love them down there. The Buick 3.8 that a lot of people they want to make their own Buick Grand National. Believe it or not, so what's up? Think different. They want to they'll get a 3.8. Well, in Australia, they turn those things. They'll do all sorts of crazy things with those. And we Americans throw them out, or we try to build Grand National replicas. Which there are some people that'll take those old Buick Regals, and then there's still a few people here and there that'll go ahead and do a V8 swap to those because it will fit. That's right. Oh, they did. Australia has an amazing car culture. An amazing car culture. I love Australia. Amazing car culture. Those guys really know how to have a good time when it comes to cars. They are really awesome down there in Australia. And don't let anyone tell you different. In Australia, in a lot of ways, they have a... Oh, really? You guys in Ireland have an amazing car culture. I'm going to have to look at that now. I'm going to have to see what you guys do. I know rally over there is pretty popular over in England, and I know, and I believe in Ireland. Oh, you guys as imports. Okay. Here in the United States, you see a classic car like Project Spirit, people fall in love with them immediately. And, we still love our... Oh, really? See, now, I would love to get my hands on the Ford, hang on, just had it. The Ford 1970 Ford Escort. I would love to get my hands on one of those out of England. Still, those are amazing rally cars from what I understand. Still to this day, they're very popular. And I would love to get my hands on one and just build it and see what it could do. You guys still got Group B? Holy shit. I thought that was outlawed. Group B was outlawed a long time ago, at least here in the U.S. I didn't think Group B was still around. Dang. Because I know that was outlawed years ago. Oh my gosh, yeah, rebadge it as a Holden. Yeah. Well, you could do that with your Pontiac GTOs that they built in the 2000s. Honestly, every Buick 3.8 engine I've ever seen was an absolute dog. I hated them. Oh, they finally put restrictions on Group B? It's not the same. It's not the same. The original Group B, there was no restrictions, really. Yeah, Series 2, yep. Myself personally, though, oh, really? See, again, amazing cars from other countries. Really? Oh, the Lancia Stratus. Okay. Hashtag Widowmaker. All right, here's one for you guys. If you guys want to see, one of the Stratos in a movie here from the United States, take a look at the movie Cannonball with David Carradine inside the 70s. Oh, that's what got Group B into trouble. I did not know that. Yeah, it was. Very aerodynamic even for its time. Myself personally, When you talk about, really high end cars, I would love to get my hands on a Lamborghini Miura. If I wanted anything on the high end scale, the Lamborghini Miura. Oh, beautiful ride. And of course, I'm still a fan of the Countach. Really? Dang. See, I like my old cars. I really love old cars. Now, real quick, Project Spirit is actually coming up on turning, believe it or not. Oh, that's yours? Okay. All right. Good looking car. Um, Real quick, when here in the United States, we erroneously call cars like Project Spirit classics. They're not anymore. Here in Missouri, classic cars are from 20 to 24 years. 25 and older is considered antique. Project Spirit is a 1975. Do the math. She's coming up on 50 years old. Okay? So she is an antique. She passed antique a long time ago. Yep. Thank you, Sean, for that little bit of. Yeah. So Project Spirit is an antique car. Yeah, that was. Yeah. I remember watching something on that not that long ago. And yeah, the roll cage was all. Yeah, I remember watching a little something on that. I was like, dang, man. Um, you know, yeah, I love old cars. Love the old cars. My dream car is a 57 Chevrolet Bel Air. Ooh, you almost got to take your hat off when you talk about the 57 Chevy Bel Air, you know? Oh my goodness, yes. Mm, wow, that is ridiculous, man. Hit a helicopter. I didn't hear that one. I haven't heard about that one. Um, and so that should give you an idea. And I do like the old Willys Overland Jeeps from World War II. Love those. Um, which yeah, those things happen though. Um, for NASCAR, myself personally, I know some people, around here, Dale Earnhardt, whatever wants it, not Richard Petty. I like Richard Petty. That was when stock cars were really stock cars. Yep. Um, and of course, Bob Riggle. You ever want to see a wheelie stand car? Bob Riggle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm still a big fan. Sometime we're gonna have to live stream from the dirt track over in Farmington, Missouri. We're definitely gonna have to do that. Yep. Back when I was a kid, I used to play Al Unser Jr.'s Turbo Racing for the NES. Yep. Still, still love that game. Um, yeah, I've been turned on to. My dad was the one who started teaching me about the old cars. Matter of fact, the first modified car I ever heard was a 1966 Mustang GT Coupe with a 289 roaring through glass packs. First time I ever heard something like that. Anything 57 Chevy, I like. And of course, I do like the 57 Oldsmobiles, the 57 Ford Fairlane. The 1956 Chevy Bel Air, the 1955 Chevy Bel Air, the shoebox Chevys. You got to throw all those in there. I do love all the 55, 56, and 57. Yep, that's another one. I do like the 1958 Plymouth Fury. Cars of the 50s were really works of art out of the United States. They really were works of art. Amazing rides. Nobody talks about how amazing those are gorgeous cars. Can't beat them. Good looking cars. I mean, hands down, bar none, you don't get much better looking than some of those cars. They're amazing. They look gorgeous. They look gorgeous, Matter of fact, at one time, I had rebuilt a Chevy 283 from 1965, and that was a good engine. The only thing I should have done different is the 283 had one design flaw, a design flaw that eventually killed that engine. There was no bolt to hold the harmonic balancer onto the crankshaft of the engine. And after time, it'll wobble out a little bit, and if you don't press it back in, what will happen is it'll cause that outer seal on the inside of the timing chain, the timing chain cover, to actually wear out, and it'll basically dump your oil. Well, that happened to me one day. It basically dumped the oil. The engine threw a rod right through the side of the oil pan and leaked all the oil out. And when all the oil went out, it through that rod. I drove another 5 to 10 miles. I got the car onto the side of the road, and it was barely running at that time, and the engine quit. So that should tell you how tough an old Chevy 283 really was. And Chevrolet, I've had a lot of old timers say they should have never stopped building that engine. It was that tough. But we're back to car companies today build them to be thrown away. It's not like it used to be. Of course, there's another engine I wouldn't mind being able to squeeze into Project Spirit. An old Chevy 280, 283, 327, 350. And most people forget that Chevrolet had its own 302, 5.0. To a lot of you folks on the other side of the world, outside of the United States, I still use cubic inches. Well, I'll have to get on the stick because I got one that's going to be coming out soon. Yes. We're getting ready to end the regular series and go into the next part. I guess you could say almost like season 2 of Aircraft Remover. You guys will love that one. But yes, I will. For those of you from the Eclipse who have been supporting the Prince Magnum channel and getting to know us over here, and you've joined the Maverick Nation. Now, if you don't know what the Maverick Nation is, if you hit the subscribe button, you're now a member of the Maverick Nation. That simple. Doesn't get any harder than that, does it? Yeah, I would love to. And there's a company I need to call sometime Monday before I go to pick Princess Faye up from the airport. There's a particular company. Hey, Ron, appreciate you guys letting me into that group too. It's so amazing that you all let me in, Yes, I do have my own, I have my own Discord for the Prince Magnum channel. I need to post the link over there, in both the Sunnies and the Eclipse, and get you guys in to kind of hang out with us. And I will tell you all right now, if you are in blue, drop the link to your channel. If you know somebody who needs support, and from the Eclipse and from the Sunnies, grab their link and drop it in the chat right now at any time you want. Okay, you guys I am not one of those creators. Oh, don't do that. Drop it in there and get your support. That's how we network. Okay, if you see them in blue, get to know those folks. They're good people. All right. I'm not one of those guys that, the way I figure it, if I'm, I know some people do that out of kind of like a selfishness, and I don't do that. There you go. Thank you, Ron. There you go. And feel free at any time to drop information so we can find you guys in Discord, okay? You know, when I post the Discord link and everything, feel free to drop all that information in all day long. Don't be afraid to do that. I'll tell y'all right now, you know, that's how we network. And I know there's some content creators out there that get kind of nervous about that. Don't get nervous about it. Because if you're supporting the YouTube community, you get the support back. Duh. You know, it's common knowledge. So I don't get hung up on all that. You know, hands down, bar none. There you go. There you go. Appreciate that, Minty. You know, get to know one another. Get to know one another. All right? That's how we do this thing. Because it doesn't matter how big you get, you still need to network a little bit and work with other people. Collab. Not yet, guys. Thank you, Ian. Appreciate that. That is my boy right there. That is Gamer Ian, BRFC. That guy right there does amazing, amazing gaming live streams. His Tuesday Night Madness on Fortnite is to die for. And watching him play Fall Guys is hilarious. And for those that don't know, Mr. Gamer Ian, BRFC, is a veteran of Her Majesty's Royal Marine Corps. He's and here on the Prince Magnum channel, we not only support our veterans here in the United States. Thank you so much. Not only do we support our veterans here in the United States, we support our veteran. Thank you, Minty. We support our veterans abroad too. You know, and I will tell you all right now, he's a fantastic, fantastic guy. Get to know that guy. He's on, you know, I see great things happening with Mr. Gamer Ian, BRFC. He's an amazing friend to so many people, and he's a wonderful friend to me. Get to know that guy. We definitely need him, more like him in the YouTube community. He's just an amazing guy. And if you don't know him, you need to get to know him. He's a good friend. And yes, I'm talking about you, Ian. Talking about you. You know, he's just one of those guys that I can't say enough. I could start talking good about him, and I could go on all day long and not cover how an amazing guy he really is. He's just an amazing friend to so many of us, and we need more people like him. Just an amazing guy, you know. So again, but we got some work done to Project Lena. Now, I will tell you all right now, again, Princess Faye loves more modern vehicles, but she's often said she really isn't a huge fan of them after the too technical. If you decide that you want a more modern vehicle, there's nothing wrong with that, okay? And now Project Lena's looking pretty dirty right now. We got to get her cleaned up. She's a gorgeous ride, and when she's all cleaned up, looking her best, she looks amazing. Ian will tell you that's his favorite car here on this channel. Project Spirit, though, on the other hand, is actually a pretty popular kind of car around the world. We've had offers from people as far away as Hong Kong to buy Project Spirit. You know, Project Spirit. As a matter of fact, there was a person, I don't know if they're still in Eclipse. I don't know if they're still there or not. You know, because I know there was kind of a changing of the guard over there with some people. You know, sometimes you got to do that. Sometimes you got to do, you got to, when you're running a YouTube group like, Eclipse and the Sunnies, sometimes you got to kind of do some things and straighten out some things and, that sort of thing. Sometimes you got to do that. So now that I've said that, this one particular person that I don't know if they're still in Eclipse or not, basically got one look at Project Spirit. He's like, that's a proper car now. That is proper. That was when they built cars. Not even really into cars, but he fell in love with Project Spirit just by seeing a few moments in Facebook Messenger. Fell in love with her right away. Funny how that works. So we're now at that stretch where I do need to wind it down. I got to go say hi to some friends. I'm going to jump onto Fortnite and see if I can get some more video footage. So that brings us to a good stopping point. Again, I thank you all for being here with me, hanging out, and learning a little bit about cars and just talking about cars in general. I love working on cars. I love modifying them, and I love my American cars. Sorry, I really love American cars. And I love them. And the older they get, the more I love them. Especially out of the 1950s. That's my year. Those are my years of cars. So that brings us to a good stopping point. So for all of you, this is what I like to say to all of you when, generally speaking, it kind of goes a little something like this, and I hope that it carries you through whatever is going on in your life, whatever it is. Get out there and work on a project. I don't care what it is, just do something with yourself. Remember, idle hands and a creative mind go together like oil and water. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet and do something special for them today. And as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you and have a happy 24. Thank you.